Good morning, everybody. All right, so I have put in all of your homework. A lot of you guys are missing some homework. We have a quiz on Friday, next class. So today we're going to be spending the day going over all the stuff that we've covered, everything that's going to be on the quiz. And you guys are going to have some practice to work on to try and get this all under control. So the quiz on Friday, here's what's going to be on it. All right. It's going to have two parts. Part one is on slope. And so you're going to need to find the slope on a graph. You're going to need to find slope from an equation. From 2 points. You're going to need to find the slope of parallel and perpendicular lines. Okay, that's going to be 10 questions. Okay, and all of this comes from the work that we did on days 1 and 2. All right, and you guys have been doing slope for a long time. I mean, you did it in Algebra 1. You probably did some of it in another class as well. And maybe if you took AFDA, you there too. And I know you covered some of it even in middle school. So I'm hoping that we get this under control. We'll ask questions today. Part 2 is on midpoints. And from there, you're going to need to find the midpoint from a graph. And from a pair of points. From coordinates. And you're going to need to find the other endpoint. And some of those are word problems. Okay, this is also going to be 10 questions. And this all came from days 3 and 4. So make sure everybody copies all that down. This is what's going to be expected of you on Friday's quiz. Okay, just like the last quiz, you're going to come to class, and then I'm going to unlock the quiz. You guys will take it, and then I'll have something for you to do after the quiz is over. All right. Does anybody have any questions? Open up the participants list and click on raise hand if you've finished copying everything. Subrat, Cesar, Ozios, Mary, you guys got this copied? Raise your hand if you have. Cesar, Mary. How about you, Cesar? Are you good? Thank you. All right. All right. So now, okay, so what I'd like to do is go over some of these problem types. So how do we find slope? Okay, so let's talk about slope from an equation. Maybe we'll talk about graphs in a second. If you have something like y equals 1/2 x plus 3, tell me in the private chat what the slope of this line is. Remember, it's coming from y equals mx plus b, right? And that one is your slope. So a lot of good answers in the chats. That's right. That means this is my slope. So the slope is 1/2. Good. All right. Good. All right. Now, what if I had y minus 4x equals 2? Well, this is the form of the equation, right? Y equals mx plus b. And in this equation, y is all by itself, right? So if we look over to the problem that we have, y is not by itself. This negative 4x is here, and we got to get rid of that negative 4x. It's got to come over here. So to get rid of it, I pick it up and I move it over to the other side. And when I pick it up and move it, it changes sign. And it was negative over here, so it's positive over here. And the 2 stayed put. So now we've got it in that form. We just moved it over, okay? And so the slope is 4. Okay. So sometimes you have to move things around in order to get y all by itself. Let's do another one like that. Or one kind of like that. If you had 2y equals 3x plus 10, remember, you got to get the y all by itself, so that 2 has got to go. And that 2 is multiplying onto the y, so we undo multiplication with division. Remember, division and multiplication are opposites. So we divide everybody by 2. And so now we get that. And so the slope of this guy is the coefficient. And remember, you only can do this when y is alone. So in the beginning, y wasn't alone. So I could, if you had just told me it was 3, it wouldn't be right because you have to have y alone first. So that's why we got rid of the 2's so that y was alone. And 3 over 2, I can't reduce that fraction. And so that's my answer. That's my slope. All right. Do another one. So here, remember, y has to be alone. And y is definitely not alone. I've got to get rid of this x, and I got to get rid of that too. Both of them have to go. So I pick up the x, and I move it over to the other side. And what does it become on the other side?
Negative x.
Right. And that 8, we didn't touch it. We left it alone. It's not involved right now. There's nothing happening. That's the same thing with the 2y. We didn't touch it. All we did was move the x. That was one step all by itself. Now, just like we did before, remember y has to be alone, so that 2 has to go. So the 2 is multiplying, and just like before, we undo it by dividing by 2. And now what's the number in front of this? Because I don't even see a number up in front of the x. What number is in front of that x right now?
1.
Yeah, there's a -1. Remember, don't lose your sign. There's always a 1. And when there was a 1 here also, we just we didn't see it. But it was positive, and then it became negative. And so now my slope is -1/2, and that's my answer. All right. How do we feel about finding slope from an equation? Scale of 1 to 5. Put it in the private chat, please. 1 is I have no idea what you're doing. 5 is I got this. It's no problem. Okay. So I got some people that are cool. I got some people that are, maybe a little bit unstable. So here's the deal. I just want everyone to know a couple of things that are going on. One, please, my lessons are recorded. You can find those videos in Canvas. Look on the left, and you'll see recorded videos. That'll take you to my YouTube channel. All right, go to geometry, and you'll find all the classes are there. All right, so if you're missing anything, that's where you go. Okay, if you're looking for that. 2, I have office hours every day. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And they're after school until 3:30. Third, I can meet with you on Mondays. You just have to ask. And finally, you can email me a question. So if you're going to email me a question, think about it from where I am. I get 100 emails a day from students in all of my classes. Sometimes, and this happened to a student in this class, and I felt really, really bad. Their subject line looked like every other subject line. They put their last name and their first name in their block. If you put the word question in the subject line, I'll see it right away and I will answer it right away. But if it's a homework assignment, I might not get to it right away. And I don't want you to not have all of your questions answered. So I felt really sorry, and I apologize to the student because it took a long time for me to answer them back because I never saw the email. So please put the word question in the subject line and I will answer your questions. Okay. All right. Also, I'm keeping track of who is paying attention in class. So, I mean, I know when you're talking to me in the private chat, and I know when you're not. And I have records of all of that. So please show me that you're interested and ask questions in the private chat if you have them. Okay. So let's get the slope from 2 points. Oh, wait, I forgot one. 1 second. Go back. We'll come back. Slope from an equation. I forgot one. This is just from before, okay? What's the slope of that? So this guy doesn't have any x's in it, does it? Think about it this way. Zero times x is 0, right? So when you just have a number, y equals a number, you have a line that looks like this. Okay? Lines like that, they have 0 slope. So your slope is 0. So all of these, y equals -1/2, y equals 2/3, y equals 7, y equals 1,000, okay? All of these are just horizontal lines because there's no x's in them, okay? So if it's just y equals a number, no x values, no x, then the slope is 0. Another, and here's a tricky one. Well, I'll answer that in a second. So put this in your brain, guys. Okay, when there's no x's, like all of these don't have any x's on them, the slope is 0 for all of them. Now, what about this one? For this guy, remember, a normal equation looks like this. This guy doesn't even have any y's in it at all. Okay? So these guys look like this. What's the slope of a vertical line? Ah, good, Brenda. Say it out loud. Unmute and say it out loud. That's right.
Undefined.
Right. So if I have x equals 2, x equals 1/2, x equals 1,000,000, I don't care. If you don't have a y, it's undefined. Okay? So those are the ones that trip people up. People miss those a bunch, but not this class. You guys are going to get those. Okay? Now I'm going to ask you a tricky question. What's the slope of the y-axis? Think of the picture. Imagine the picture. Remember which one was the y-axis? Which one is it? This is your y-axis, right? So the y-axis has a slope of what? Michelle, unmute and say it out loud, please.
Undefined.
Right. It's going straight up and down. Its equation actually is x equals 0. Okay. So what is the slope of the x-axis? Kimberly, unmute and say it out loud. You got it.
That's 0 slope.
Yeah, the 0 slope, because this is the x-axis, right? Its equation is y equals 0. It's horizontal. That's right. Okay. Here's the last one that's tricky. What's the slope of y equals x? Emmanuel, say it out loud for me.
1.
That's right. How did you get it?
Oh, because there's a 1 before the x.
Right. There's always, did it matter that I have nothing over here? I mean,
No.
right. Have I ever cared about that?
No.
I mean, not on this, no.
Well,
So the slope is 1. Good. All right. Last one, we might as well ask it. What about this one? What's the slope of that?
-1.
Very good. Yeah. Because there's a -1 in front. Okay, good. Sorry, I forgot those when I was about to hop off and do the next part, which is the slope from 2 points. All right. So we have, let's do, well, remember the format. And the formula was y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. You could also have these reversed, and that would be okay. All right, this is the formula. Now, you can do this in different ways. We talked about ways of stacking them up. Okay, and using the slope that way, whichever way works for you. So let's do some examples. 4, -2, and 3, 0. All right. Now, let's take a second and everyone work on this one by themselves. I want to see where we are without me going into it too far. Remember, your answer is a fraction or a whole number. It's rise over run. Nice, Kaylin. Nice, Kimberly. That one needs some work. Nice. Remember, rise over run. Watch your signs. Okay, so, all right. The X's, so 0 minus -2, 3 minus 4. Two negatives make a positive. 3 minus 4 is -1, which is -2. Okay. Let's try another example. And you'll get the same answer depending upon whichever order you put things in. So let's try 3, -1, and 1, 5. So if you're having issues with this one, maybe try it like this. Visualize this with me. See these two numbers? Okay, write them down and do this with me. Maybe this will help you out. Write this down exactly as I've written it on your paper before, and don't do anything yet. Okay, just copy it down exactly like this for a minute. All right. Now, take your two fingers, put them on underneath the two numbers, and put them right there. From here, put them right there. Take your two numbers and put them right there. Use your right hand and put them right there. Okay, take your two numbers, put them right there. Take your two numbers, put them right there. And then reduce your fraction to -3. Does that help anybody? Okay, let's try another one. So start with your fraction bar. This is always going to be there, okay, guys? This is always there. Take your two numbers, put them right there. Use your right hand and put them right there. Take your two numbers, put them right there. And now do the math. Okay, remember, two negatives make a positive, right? And then reduce your fraction. Okay, so you guys are going to try this one on your own, guys. And then you're going to put it in the private chat for me, all right? Do that one on your own. Okay, getting a lot of good answers. Some people are making tiny little mistakes, but a lot of people are getting it right, which is good. So take your numbers, put them here. Take your numbers, put them here. So -1 minus 2 is -3. 7 minus 2 is 5. And that doesn't reduce, so that's my answer. So yeah, that's the slope. We found the slope. Good. One more just to be sure. All right. Well, two more. And let's take a look. Take your two numbers and put them there. Take your two numbers, put them there. Now, a negative next to a negative makes a positive. And so -1 plus 1 is 0. And 4 minus 5 is a -1. And 0 divided by anything except 0 is 0. Okay? Anything divided by 0 is 0. So if I had 0 over 5, that's 0. 0 over -20, it would be 0. Okay? Now, that's not the same thing as when the 0 is down below. Okay? So if I had 6, 1, and I'm going to do this one with us together. So I'll do this one for you so that you can see what I mean. We take the two numbers and we put them here. Take the two numbers and we put them here. 1 minus a negative, so that's two negatives, make a positive. So that's 4. And 6 minus 6 is 0. Now, this is undefined. Okay, when 0 is down below, if you put that in a calculator, you'll get an error. Okay, and that error tells you that it's undefined. This is a vertical line. Okay, 0 down below is a vertical line. Now, I don't care what's up top. 3 over 0 is undefined. -20 over 0 is undefined. Okay. So those are the two that mess people up. It all depends on where the 0 is. 0 up top is 0. This is a horizontal line. This is a y equals the number, right? These 0 down below is undefined. Okay. These are horizontal, vertical lines. All right. Please remember the difference between those. Okay. All right. Okay. Slope of, whoops. Parallel and perpendicular lines. So parallel lines have slopes parallel lines have slopes that are equal. Perpendicular lines have slopes are negative reciprocals. So that means flip the sign and flip the fraction. So if the slopes are if my first slope is 1/2 and my other slope is 1/2, are these parallel or perpendicular or neither? Are these two slopes parallel or perpendicular?
Parallel.
Yes, these are parallel. What about those?
Perpendicular.
Right. How about those?
Perpendicular. Yeah, they're either parallel, perpendicular, or neither. Omar, why are you're right. Why did you choose that? Omar, go ahead and tell us what you wrote, because it's right. Omar.
Like the numbers aren't switched.
Yeah, they're not upside down, right? But one's positive and one's negative. So that's something, but they're not upside down, are they? Right? So in order to be perpendicular, it's got to be both. You got to flip it and change the sign. Here, I just changed the sign. I didn't flip it also. So these are neither. What about those? Parallel, perpendicular, or neither? Slope of 0 and a slope of 0?
Neither. Parallel.
Yeah, these are parallel. They're equal to each other. Isn't 0 equal to 0? So they're parallel. And now here's a tricky one.
Neither.
Omnia, why did you choose that? You're right. It's a good answer because you're right. Okay, so think about what undefined means. Undefined means straight up and down, right? And 0 slope means straight left and right. These two are at right angles to each other, aren't they? These are perpendicular. That's the one that gets people all the time. That question very, very well might be on the quiz, just to let you know. Undefined and zero are perpendicular. Right, one's horizontal and one's vertical. Exactly right. Okay. So let's make sure we get into midpoints. All right. Midpoints. So with a midpoint, you take the average. You take the average of the x's and you take the average of the y's. So let's say we have 3, 4, and 11, 2. Okay, you take your x's and you add them up and divide by 2. Your x's are the first ones, 3 and 11. Your y's are the 4 and the 2. So 3 plus 11 is 14. And 4 plus 2 is 6.
7 and 3.
Right. 7 and 3. Okay. Let's do some more of those. And you add them. So I take my 2 x's and I take my 2 y's, and now I add them up. -3 plus a -5 is a -8. 2 plus 10 is 12. And now you simplify.
I get a 4.
And 6. Very good. You're always dividing by 2. Because when you do the average, you divide by however many numbers there are, and there's 2 numbers, so we divide by 2. Let's try another one. Try this one on your own. And remember, you write your answers in parentheses with a comma between them. So so 4 plus 0 and -2 plus 1. 4 over 2, -1 over 2, which is 2. And you could either leave it as a -1/2, that's fine, or -0.5. And either one of these would be okay with me, but that you need to turn into a 2. Okay. So let's do a let's do the other endpoint. So if we have here's where some of our word problems start coming in. So it's sometimes a good idea, it's actually always a good idea to draw a picture. So we've got a line segment AB. Doesn't matter how you draw it, just that A and B are the endpoints, because that's what that says. It says a segment that starts at A and ends at B. And M is the middle of it. Now they gave me the location of M. And they gave me the location of A. And it's B we want. So we stack them up. Endpoint, midpoint, endpoint. So my endpoint was 0, -2. My midpoint was -2, 4. And my endpoint is what I want. Now, a lot of people had problems with this one, and here's a way to think about it. -2 plus what equals 4? And so I want to know what that number is. And I can take this -2 over to the other side and get 6. And that kind of makes sense. -2, if you go from -2 to 4, you went up 6. So you go 6 more again. 4 plus 6 is 10. Think about this one. If I'm at 0 and I go to -2, have I gone up? Have I gone down? And how much?
Down
Down how much?
2.
Down 2. So I'm going to go down 2 again. What does that leave me at?
-4.
Right. Okay. Let's do another one of those. Um, so we have a circle. So let's draw a circle. And it's got a midpoint at G. And it's got a diameter PR. And P is at 1, 4. And G is at -3, 6. And you're supposed to find the other guy. So set them up. Endpoint, midpoint, endpoint. And let's put in the information that we know. My endpoint is this guy. And my midpoint is that guy. And now we have to find out what those two numbers are. So here we're going up 2. So we're going to go up 2 again and get 8. Here I'm going down 4. And so I'm going to go down 4 again to -7. And that's your answer. Let's try this one. So we talked about this the other day in a parallelogram. the diagonals meet at the middle. They intersect at their midpoints. So the point where they intersect was given to us, and they gave us point P. You need to find point R. So set this one up and put your answer in the private chat. Watch your signs, people. Watch your signs. All right. So we'll set this guy up. Your endpoint, your midpoint, and your endpoint. The endpoint was -2, 3. The midpoint was -1, -1. And so from here to there, I'm going to go down 4. And from there to there, I'm going to go down 4 again to land at -5. Here, I go down 3. So I go down 3 again and get to -4. That's a -4. And -5. Okay. So here's what I've got, ladies and gentlemen. There's some practice on my Canvas page. I'm going to go ahead and open that up for you and show you what I mean. So let me share real fast. All right. So we have 2 new announcements. One of them, they're both exactly the same, except that this one doesn't have the answers on them, and this one does. So these are the same problems. They just are here in case you want to practice. So here's some review for midpoint and slope. And then part 2 has got some, questions kind of like this one, where they were a little bit more word problem like, or maybe a little harder. And so these don't have any answers on them, but these are the exact same questions, but I just put the answers with them. Okay, this is not an assignment. You do not have to turn this in. This is for you to practice. Okay, if you have questions on any of these, I have office hours and you can ask me. Okay, but everything is there for you to practice. All right. So in the private chat, tell me how you're gonna do on this quiz, scale of 1 to 5, and then you can go.
Have a good day.
Same to you.
What do we do again?
Tell me how you're gonna do on the quiz, and then you can leave.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Maybe you need to see that one.
Bye. Have a good day.
You too. Thank you. Michelle, was it this one you wanted to see? You wanted to see that one.
Bye, Mr. Ronco.
Take care, Kaylin.
You too.
See ya. You guys have questions, or is there anything I can help you with?
Thank you.
Did I miss anything? Because I was late.
Well, we were reviewing for the quiz next class.
Oh, okay. I know that. Okay.
Okay. Remember, there are review packets for you to practice with. Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Bye.
You too. Bye-bye.